Hello, my chickadees! Really quick, the content warning. This game contains content such as cult, murder, emotional manipulation, body horror, blood, and jump scares. Okay, I attempted that. Welcome to Knitbone. This game was a entry into the Spooktober game jam this year, and it looks fun. We're gonna dive on in and check it out. If you have any problems with any of the warnings that we just talked about, somehow. Uh, we somehow talked about it. I got it all out there. Please click away. I want all my chickadees to be safe. For everybody else, buckle up, Buttercup. We're gonna dive in. Whee! Whee! First off, look at this poor boy. He's the hands on his shoulder. That's like a possessive feel. I don't like that. Possessive controlling. All right, baby boy. Knitbone. Where did it all go wrong? Right. I shouldn't have had insomnia in the first place. You couldn't have controlled that. You see, after a few days with no sleep and no direction, you get desperate. If I could turn back time, I never would have stepped through that door. Oh my god, what happened when you were sleepy? My foot felt too loud as I walked. The hallway smelled old and dusty, the carpet ugly and stained. My thumb kept brushing over the card in my pocket. 1408, just like the card said. That's the room I've been trying to track down. After a tour of what felt like the world's most depressing maze, I finally spotted the door. The little brass number on it looked shiny and new. It didn't fit with the rest of the dingy hallway. I stopped, my hand hovering in the air. I wasn't sure if I should knock. A part of me just wanted to turn around and leave. Right, I told myself I'd actually show up. As I got ready to knock, a memory popped into my head. Last night at the lounge, I revealed too much to someone who was practically a stranger. Seems like the ice in my glass has succumbed to the warmth. Looks just like my life. Oh, look at him! I love his little, moles on his face, his little freckles. Oh, he's cute. My name is Eden, a psychology major. Fun fact, I have a degree in psychiatry, guys. It's an associate's degree, but I have a degree in psychiatry. So, I feel you, buddy. I feel you. Voted as the most likely to succeed. But that was years ago, when I had direction in my life. Now, I'm barely surviving on cheap coffee and no sleep. I changed 3 jobs in 12 months. Oh! Every fresh start only left me more tangled in doubt. And yeah, I ended up even more lost. Just because you have a psychiatry degree or you have done lessons in it doesn't mean you can fix yourself. You can have psychological issues while having the degree. It's really hard to look at yourself half the time and be like, this is what's wrong with me. So, yeah, he needs some outside help. The way his eyes are twitching open, it really does look like he's just sleeping. He's just barely hanging on from not head planting into the table and sleeping. If you have insomnia, that's what you want to do. You want to sleep so bad. I don't even recognize who I am anymore. The door opened, but at first I hardly registered it. The vibe suddenly seemed to shift, as if someone flipped a switch. I couldn't help but look. Ooh, that's a nice room, though. Look at this. We did say we were in a lounge. It's really nice. But hello. A man walked in with the sort of effortless confidence that drew everyone's eyes to him. He smiled at the bartender, waved at someone like they were old friends. So, he's that kind of guy, huh? He looked so put together, assertive and relaxed. And his shirt, that probably cost more than my rent, yet he wore it so casually. Everything about him was the opposite of me. He paused at the entrance, scanning the lounge like he was deciding where to sit. I should have looked away, but I didn't. Oh, eye contact. And then he saw me, eyes widening as they locked onto mine. He smiled. Oh, look how cute we are with our little oversized hoodie. That's so cute. He's like, I look too long. I have summoned him. That got me holding my breath. I forced a polite smile despite my racing heart. There was something oddly familiar about him, but I couldn't figure it out. I heard footsteps approaching me slowly. Why is he standing right here? What should I say? We should save. That's what we should say. Hey? Hey there. Eden Cross. No way, is that you? Oh, so he knows us. Ryohei. Ryohei? My confusion must have shown on my face because he chuckled. Oh yeah, we don't remember you, buddy. I'm sorry. It's me, Ryohei Damien. Sorry, you might not remember me. We had that psychology elective together, remember?
Oh.
No, we don't remember you. It's you. That hit me. Ryohei. That Ryohei Damien. We were in the same department back in college. He was popular. He was effortlessly charming. The kind of guy who made everyone feel seen, even when he probably didn't know half their names. I never expected to be on his radar. We shared a few lectures, maybe a group project once, but I was always the quiet one. I was the guy people tended to forget. But I remember him. God damn. I think I remembered him more than I should. People wouldn't shut up about him. I've always been envious of him, even now. Oh, yep, he sat down with us. And yet, here he is. Sitting across from me in this nearly empty lounge, grinning like we were old buddies. He even did it without asking me, like it was the most natural thing to do. Of course I remember you. You were basically famous, Ryohei. It made him laugh. He didn't even try to deny it. You can just call me Rio. I'm really glad we ran into each other again. Well, Eden, your name really does you justice. Looking splendid as always. I couldn't help but smile back. I'm not sure if I'm amused by his outlandish teasing or by the fact that he remembered my name. I mean, that is kind of a unique name, though. I don't think lounging at a jazz club after an exhausting day is much of a splendid look, but thanks. You look like, life's been treating you well. I'll leave out the as always. He laughs, but his eyes narrow in. I did notice you're tired, though. I don't mean to offend. No, it's fine. I know I'm living dead. I laugh, trying to brush it off. Insomnia, that's all. I get used to it. What a shame. And for the first time in what felt like forever, I didn't feel like a complete failure. We caught up and talked for a while. Something about his presence, felt almost too welcoming. Made it easy for me to open up. It felt safe, or at least I convinced myself it was. After all, he was an old acquaintance, wasn't he? So, like an idiot, I spilled everything. He listened intently. What a coincidence? He chuckled at the last word. Actually, I specialize in sleep therapy, as well as cognitive consultations. Maybe I'm not that strange for feeling like I'm meant to be here with him tonight. Maybe he feels it too. Would you pay me a visit? What? I want to see you. I mustered a smile, hoping he didn't notice my bewilderment. It'd be a private consultation. I've had my studio set up. It's okay, I already visited doctors. I figured, but maybe I can do something about it. And if I can't, well, it's no wasted money. I'm offering it for free. Since he seemed so willing to help, declining now would make me look even more pitiful. Before I could react, he produced a card between his fingers, like he'd been waiting there all along. Come to my studio whenever you're ready. No pressure. The word studio echoed in my head longer than it should have. And for some reason, I actually came. This was probably a bad idea. We hardly even know each other. Yeah, but we want to sleep. We gotta figure out why we're having these issues, and the doctors can't help us. What if we just turn around? I decided to skip the consultation. I just didn't feel comfortable. But my insomnia worsened over time, leading me to withdraw from society. I heard Ryohei's consultancy had been growing, and he's now dealing with a large number of patients. Perhaps I should have reached out to him after all. Like how the saying goes, nothing ventured, nothing gained. End. Okay, I had to do it. There is 2 endings plus a mini ending, so I think that was the mini ending. I had to do it. You know, I always gotta see how we can die or end it first. But okay, for real. Let's knock. I finally knocked on the door. The door opened right away, as if he'd been standing there the whole time waiting for me. Okay, that's a little creepy. That's a little creepy.
Hey.
He had a warm, practiced smile and said my name like he knew I would come. I had a feeling you'd arrive. Please, come in. I hesitated, but my feet started moving before I could even think about it. Hey, there's a beanbag in the corner. I claim it. Oh. The smell was different inside. The scent of lemon, oil, and faint herbs filled the air. And there's a bed. Is this just your room? It felt a bit phony, like he was trying too hard to make it smell naturally relaxing. The studio was quite simple. Just a couch for me and a single fancy chair for him. My gaze drifted past a collection of arranged objects as Ryohei led me inside the studio. Soft jazz music played in the background. Please, have a seat. Make yourself at home. I sat on the couch. It was actually pretty cozy. Comfortable? I nodded. He sat on his big chair and watched me. So, Eden Cross. You know why you're here, right? He got straight to the point.
Yeah.
I guess so? So, tell me, what's on your mind? What brings you here tonight? My mouth went dry as I finally said the line I practiced. Last night, you mentioned you could help. You said you help people with sleep issues. I told him how I couldn't sleep and how I felt like I didn't know who I was when the light went off. He listened without rushing. No interruptions and no pity. Just that steadily practiced attention. Alright then, starting with some questions. Do you have more trouble falling asleep or staying asleep? Both equally, I suppose. How many times a week do you suffer from this? I can't really remember. Maybe 5? Ooh, 5 out of 7. Ugh. He pursed his lips.
Okay.
Are you taking any medication? None. I see. He pauses, weighing his words before going on. His expression turns serious, as if he knows something that I don't. Insomnia and identity crisis. That's a reasonable setup to bring in together. Sleep and sense of self are closer than most people think. You're not sleeping because your mind refuses to let you be vulnerable. And that's why your mind won't shut down. That hit closer to home than I expected. The smile crept back onto his face. Before we go any deeper, I have a simple personality test to help me understand the shape of this weight you're carrying. It requires a bit of trust, I know, but it would help me understand. I really think you should take it. What if we don't take it? No. I don't think I'm ready yet. Is that so? Oh, the music ended. Thank you for being honest with me. That, in itself, is a very important step. But you came to me for help, but you're saying no to the first step. What do you mean? He leaned forward, his voice low. Eden, refusing only reveals what you're afraid of. It shows me exactly what you're afraid of. Did you guys see that? Thank you. You've given me quite a clear impression. Yeah. What the hell was that? Oh, perfect. Now I'm hallucinating in the middle of this therapy. Should I just chalk it up to sleep deprivation and call it a day? Should we bring it up? Bring it up. Yes. Did you happen to see that? See what? Never mind. An awkward silence settled between us. His eyes flickered up to mine. What you showed me earlier tells me enough. More than enough. Your sleepless nights? He paused. His gaze was piercing, studying me like I was some kind of specimen. Your insomnia isn't a mistake, it's a pattern. Your mind is stuck on a loop. Regular therapy won't work for you. What your mind needs is a key to redistribute the weight. What I want to propose isn't therapy at all. Think of it more as a sort of guided ritual. Ritual? That's an interesting choice of words. I will give you small, specific tasks to complete. They'll require precision and focus. The goal is to give the burden a new place to rest so that your mind can finally find peace. It's an unconventional path and it requires absolute trust. Not just in me, but in yourself. He was quiet for a moment and stared at me. I can't force you to do it. This only works if you choose it. You can leave now, but that means going back on your restless routine. Or you can agree to session 2. That's where we really begin. That felt like a challenge. So, Eden, what do you think? Proceed with session 2? No! Are we gonna get the same ending as before? Ryohei inclined his head slightly. Surprisingly, there was no hint of disappointment. I understand. I'm sorry. It's okay. You can take your time. The offer still stands if you change your mind. Here, you can keep my number. Don't hesitate to reach out, even if you just need to talk. I'm sure that your sleepless nights will bring you right back to me. And he's like, oh, you coming back. You will be back. Good. Ryohei's smile deepened, as if the answer had been inevitable. Hold on a sec. He stood and began rummaging through the shelves, his movements smooth and deliberate. Suddenly, the air went still, lingering thick with every breath. The faint, pleasant smell of lemon oil and herbs felt even more synthetic, like a cheap air freshener. When he returned, he was holding a small ordnance box. Then let's begin session 2. His voice was lower now, a smooth, deep voice that silenced the room. The feeling of being in a safe place was starting to fade. He moved to the table and sat directly across from me, a subtle shift that made him the focal point of the entire room. Before we begin the exercise, I want to ask you something, Eden. What is your opinion on devotion? Devotion? The question was so left field I could only blink. To anything, whether it's a person, an idea, a god. He's trying to recruit us to join a cult. Is it the Sandman cult? Will he let us sleep? I hesitated. It felt like a trick question. My opinion on devotion is... Sounds dangerous. It's a form of trust. I guess it's a form of absolute trust. Devotion is like an anchor, something to hold on to when you're lost.
Okay.
An anchor? Yes, a worthy cause requires unwavering trust. He looked satisfied, as if given the correct answer. He paused, his expression shifting into something that looked unnervingly like a confession. I used to know people who were part of a group. They were devoted to a singular idea. They believed that to truly change, to become more than what they were, they had to give up part of themselves. My skepticism must have been obvious. This had nothing to do with insomnia. This was about something else entirely. Dude, we came here to fix our sleep problem, not join a cult. They thought of it as reaching a new level. To an outsider, their methods may have seemed extreme, maybe even cruel. He continued, his eyes searching mine, gauging my reaction. But that's what they believed. They believed true enlightenment required total devotion, and that you couldn't become whole until a part of you was given away. I couldn't make sense of what he was saying. Everything he said sounded like cult nonsense. And he seemed completely convinced himself. Uh-huh. My apologies. I didn't mean to bring that up. Right. You were planning this. He waved a hand dismissively, the physiological conversation ending as abruptly as it began. Now let's move on. He opened the velvet-lined box. Inside, nestled in black satin, was 7 unlit candles of varying heights. Let's play a game, Eden. This is a focusing exercise. He lit the candles and set them on the table in a chaotic line. The objective is simple. Arrange these candles from shortest to tallest, and left to right.
Oh.
That sounds easy. Without thinking, I reached for the nearest one. His hand shot out, not touching mine, but hovering just above it. Nuh-uh. There are rules. His tone was now flat, sharp, and cold. Discipline is paramount. You have exactly 4 moves. A move is a swapping of 2 candles. Exceed 4, and the pattern is irrevocably broken. Do you understand? Yeah. You're asking us to do thinking on sleep deprivation. This is never good. I nodded, my mouth suddenly dry. I looked at the candles. Okay. First three are... First three are correct. Okay. Yes.
Nice.
I believe you're ready for the next challenge. Do you think you can sort 7 candles? Oh god. Well, those 2 are wrong. Okay, this is the tallest. So 7, 6, 5. That one goes here, that one goes here. So that one needs to go here. Oh my gosh. Ha! Oh no!
No.
Oh god! Though there was no anger, there was a flat disappointment that scraped against my nerves. Before I could apologize, he reached over. His hand moved in a blur of graceful precise swaps. The candle snapped into a perfect ascending line. The sheer ease of it was quiet, brutal humiliation. Do not be discouraged. The placating words were a stark contrast to the cold calculation in his eyes. He was observing me, taking notes on my failure. It indicates your mind is still noisy. Do not worry, we can still move on to the next session. Our next session will require a more direct methodology to help you focus. That will be all. The dismissal was absolute. He turned from me before I had even processed it. I was left with a bitter taste of failure in my mouth. I tried! My hallucinations were getting worse, and being in this room wasn't helping. Was that all in my head, or... Your mind is still clouded. There is noise where there should be focus. Still, shall we proceed? Passed or fell, it seemed I was dragged into the next session regardless. I just nodded, too tired to argue. What's next? I have a simple question. Tell me, Eden, are you easily frightened? The question was unsettling. He leaned forward slightly and his eyes fixed on me. No. Not really. I handle myself. I love your confidence. We'll see how it goes. What? He fell silent, letting the tensions build. His gaze drift to a dark corner of the room behind me. Don't look now, but I think someone is watching us. My blood ran cold. Against my better judgment, my eyes darted to the corner. There was nothing there. Ryohei chuckled, a low, unnerving sound. Relax, I'm just testing your focus. Were you expecting something? Sometimes I wonder what's wrong with this guy. Then he pointed to a small potted herb on the desk. It was the only living thing in the room. Let's try a different approach. What do you see there? I see comfrey. I recognize the broad, hairy leaves instantly. Oh, that's a comfrey. For the first time since I arrived, my expression softened. Seeing something familiar from my childhood stirred up feelings I thought I'd long buried. My grandma used to call it by its own name, Knitbone. Ryohei seemed surprised by my sudden shift in mood, though he masked it with a smile. Knitbone, an interesting name. She said it could heal broken bones. But some breaks aren't in the bone, are they, Eden? I stayed quiet, letting the words settle in the air between us. We found the name of the game. It's a plant. Is that a real plant? I'm guessing it is a real plant. I've never heard of that. I stayed quiet, letting his words settle in the air between us. Well, some breaks are deeper, and no herb can fix them. The irony is, in the past, people thought comfrey was, or knitbone, was safe to use in any way, inside and out. But studies have shown that ingesting it can be toxic. He was talking about the plant, but his eyes told me he meant something else. His expression soured, his voice taking on a bitter, sharp edge. Listen, Eden. There are people obsessed with cures like that. He looks past me, his eyes unfocused, lost in a memory. Just like you, they were also searching for ways to heal themselves, mentally or physically. When they're desperate enough, they find a community that promises something more than a fix. AKA, you talking about your cult? He really is trying to just guide us into joining the cult. Their philosophy was simple, at least on the surface. To become enlightened, you had to give something away. They called it an offering to some cosmic entity. He let out a short, harsh laugh that held no mirth. But offering was just a petty word for ritualized murderer. Sacrifice! What? They had this twisted logic. They believed pain was a currency, that you could only heal your own wound by taking on another's life. Why is he telling me this? He's testing the waters to see what you think about it. His voice cracked, the mask of calm therapist completely gone, replaced by a raw, burning anger. They would make you believe that ending someone's life wasn't wrong, it was kindness. They said you weren't a killer, you were an angel, taking their pain away so you could finally rest. And their death, that was supposed to be a reward, your new weight to carry. It was all a lie to control you, a lie to break you down and own the pieces. The therapist I came to see was gone. Yep, he totally gone. In his place was just a man, terrified of his own hands. I take it you had to murder somebody, didn't you? Every word he spoke was coming at me too fast. I couldn't process it at all. He stood abruptly, his chair scraping back. The outburst was so sudden, so violent that it made me flinch. But I saw it for what it was. I ended that bullshit, so I took on the burden for myself. He stared at his own trembling hands, a flicker of something, desperation in his eyes. It's supposed to be over, but it doesn't just disappear. Are we becoming a therapist to our therapist? I sent my therapist to therapy. He stood there, breathing heavily, hand molded into fist so tight his knuckles turned bone white. I started to realize he was talking about his past. Wait, was he? In a cult? The guy wasn't just troubled, he was haunted. And for a second, I forgot to be scared and just felt a weird pang of pity. Should I say something? Ask him if he's okay. Well, if he's in the middle of venting, maybe we should just hear him out. Because clearly he's not okay, but if we ask him, it will show that we are concerned about him. Let's stay quiet. You bite your tongue, unsure if speaking would make things worse. He sank back into his chair, visibly forcing himself to be calm. I apologize, that was unprofessional. Our therapist needs a therapist. Anyway. All that was just an attempt to open your mind. Looks like it's ready, so let's use it. He opened a drawer and started rummaging in it. I just stood there, frozen. How did his mood shift so quickly? Suddenly, his words from our first session about a guided ritual took on a much darker meaning. A cold dread washed over me. What if this isn't therapy? He's not even trying to fix my insomnia. Instead, he's trying to do something else. With me as his test subject, is he gonna sacrifice us? Is he? Is he though?
Oh.
I found it. He then took out a pendulum, a pointed crystal on a silver chain. It looked less like a therapist tool and more like a ritual object. He stepped closer to me. Doubt wrapped around my mind like chains, choking me with every thought. What is he gonna do to me? Ryohei edged closer to me, the heat of his body pressing against mine. Dude, bubble, personal space. Panic surged and I realized I was trapped. My hand shook violently, my pulse racing, and a deep, primal fear screamed at me to turn back. But even knowing that, I couldn't make myself move away. As he moved closer to my ear, his composure slipped for a fraction of a second. It's okay, Eden. Then his eyes cleared and he smiled at me, his focus absolute. Oh God, now he's trying to hypnotize us. Why are you actually following along with it, baby? Don't! It's a trap! This will help quiet the noise in your head. Look how much taller he is than us. Just watch the crystal and listen to my voice. Can you do that for me? Let's continue. Breathe in and out. Match my breathing and try to hit the target at the center. Oh God. How am I supposed to hit it? Okay.
Nice.
Great. Let's go faster. Let's not go faster.
Yes.
Excellent. Continue to focus and don't get distracted. I match each inhale with an exhale, regaining control over my breath. I found myself breathing in sync with him. It felt strangely intimate, as if we were sharing the same air. Now watch. The world vanished in an instant. Everything else disappeared, leaving only the pendulum swinging before my eyes. You're so tired, Eden. It's time to let go. Let me hold the weight for you. His voice was a promise of rest, and I wanted it more than anything. Breathe in, Eden. Deeper now. Down into the quiet. The walls are gone. There's only the path. Follow it. My vision went dark. I was falling, not through air but through myself. And then I saw it. Am I hallucinating again? A presence, huge, cold, and utterly indifferent. It felt like a web of black veins pulsing slowly in the darkness behind my eyes. The pressure grew, the thick air pressing against my ribcage and sealing my breath. The sensation was too much. A scream built in my chest and my eyes flew open. I was back in the studio, gasping, my heart thrashing against my ribs. Ryohei was staring at me. His face was pale, his eyes wide with a horrifying mixture of fear and excitement. You saw it, didn't you? His words barely registered. All I could think of was the image burned into my mind. The feeling of that thing. I was wrong. It was wrong. All of this was wrong. Adrenaline surged through me, overpowering my exhaustion. I scrambled to my feet, my seat kicking back onto the floor. I stood up, my legs unsteady. What did I just hear? Oh my god! That was creepy as freak! Oh god, it was like, Eden. Fuck, let's get out of here! My mind was a chaotic mess of pulsing veins and the echoes of his frantic whispers. All I wanted at that moment was to get out of this room, away from his suffocating presence. I turned towards the door, my hand reaching for the handle. I have to get out! Now! I'm leaving. My voice was shaky but firm. I took a step forward towards the door. Panic flashed across Ryohei's face. He dropped the pendulum, the crystal clattering against the table. No, wait, I shouldn't have. He looked genuinely terrified, as if he'd revealed a secret he could never take back. But his panic lasted only a moment. As I reached for the door, his expression hardened into something desperate and resolute. He moved faster than I thought possible, blocking my path. Wait. His voice cut sharp, cutting through my daze. He grabbed my arm, his grip surprisingly strong, almost bruising. I turned back. The calm facade was gone, shattered completely. In its place was raw, unfiltered desperation. You can't leave. Not now. You saw it too. Don't you understand what that means? That thing. He pulled me back from the door, his eyes wide and wild. He wasn't asking me. He was pleading with me. He guided me back to the couch and pushed me down gently, a strange reverent care in his otherwise forceful actions. Hey! What the hell, Ryo? He ignored my question. He moved to the table and with a click, lit a match and then lit the candles. As the flames grew, the room transformed. It was no longer a studio, it was an altar. And I was the offering. He sat down across from me, the firelight carving deep shadows into his face. He looked older, burdened by a weight beyond my comprehension. What you saw, it's not just a thing. It has a name, a purpose. It's my debt, passed down through generations in my family, all under the guise of enlightenment. My uncle, Callister, he was the leader. He called their belief system transcendology. The way he said the word was thick with disgust. He groomed me, not as a nephew, but as a successor. He saw the entity as an honor, a sacred burden. He taught that our bodies were temporary vessels, needing purification through bloodletting to achieve a higher existence. He made it sound so beautiful, the art of ritual. But I saw what it really was, a machine for offerings. He wasn't enlightening people, he was grooming them for slaughter in order to keep the entity fed. I couldn't let him pass it on. I couldn't let him choose another victim. So, I took it from him. Did you kill your uncle? The silence in the room was deafening, broken only by the crackle of the candle wicks. What do you mean? I killed him, Eden. I killed him. I plunged his own ritual knife into his chest. I thought if the leader was gone, the curse would die with him. But I was wrong. It didn't die. It just transferred. It latched onto me. Okay, it said, feed me your blood. Now I carry it. I hear its whispers. I feel its hunger. He buried his face in his hands, his shoulders trembling. That was it. The full, horrifying truth, the core of this madness. He looked up and his eyes were glistening with unshed tears, but beneath the pain there was something else. A chilling, obsessive focus, and it was directed at me. And that's why I need you, Eden. I've been watching you, even back in college. What? You were always so quiet, so self-contained. While everyone else was so loud, so desperate to be seen, you were just there. You were whole. You were solid. I was falling apart piece by piece, and you were a fortress. I envied you for it. I hated you for it, and I admired you more than anyone else. I knew you were the one, strong enough to bear the weight, quiet enough for it to rest. He leaned forward, his voice dropping to an intimate, almost tender whisper. The codependent plea of a man drowning. I was lucky to meet you again. I knew you were the only one worthy of this gift. Oh, he wants to pass it to us. The only one strong enough to see the truth. He slid off his chair and knelt on the floor before me. This wasn't a plea for help. It was the final step of his plan. He pulled a knife from his pocket. The handle had the same vein-like carvings I saw in my vision. He held it out to me in his open palms like it was a key. My breath caught in my throat. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my ears. This is insane! Completely insane! But looking at him kneeling there, offering me this purpose, another thought crept in. A horrible, tempting thought. He's not asking me to die. He's asking me to bleed for him, to become something else. To trade my blood for one filled with this terrible, powerful thing. What if he's not crazy? What if this is a cure for the nothingness I feel every day? The gift is meant to be passed on. You saw it. It saw you. It has chosen you to be my equal. Your trouble sleeping, feeling lost, that's not a sickness. It's just an opening, a crack to let the light in. I'm here to open the door all the way. Please, Eden. His voice was low, convincing whisper, promising a strange and terrible secret. He was asking me to join him in his reality. Will you accept this honor? Will you complete the ritual and become the new vessel? Will you sacrifice your blood for me? The question hung in the air, suspended between the flames of the 7 candles. My heart hammered against my ribs. This was the final ritual, the final choice. What is my choice? Okay, I want to refuse and then we'll accept. My goodness. He said equal. Does that mean you'll still have problems with it? Trade in insomnia for insanity? A sacrifice? The sheer ridiculousness of it all was enough to make me die laughing. What the hell? Does he actually think I'm buying all this crap? The elaborate prank? Ryohei sure did get me a couple of times there, especially with the hypnosis part. But it's time for him to drop the act. How is it going to be swayed by all this cult talk any longer? Even this was too much. I looked down at the knife in his palms with a twitch in my eye, then back down to the crown of his head, bowed before me as he offered the weapon. Did he really have to go this far? No. The silence that followed was almost laughable. No? Ryohei stayed unmoving.
No.
I managed to choke out a laugh. What the hell, Ryo? What are you even talking about? This is crazy and you know it. What is? His voice had gone cold. Like, for some reason I felt myself sweating, my heart rattling faster. Do you even know what you're asking? You're asking me to offer my blood to you. What's wrong with that? I mean, a lot. Let's cover the bullet points, shall we? I look at him in horror. Everything, really? Everything. Was he mentally unwell? Wait, did he actually believe that by offering him my blood he'd be free from this cult curse or whatever he said? Hey, do you actually believe in all this crap? The crap you keep telling me, the cult, the curse, everything. You actually think it's real? A pause fills the room, then Ryohei speaks. You don't? On impulse, I bark out a short ha.
Ha.
The sound of ridicule, of mockery, of belittlement, of superiority. Oh, Ryohei, how far have you fallen? Resorting to these sorts of trickery, and for what? I may not be in the best spot right now, but at least my mind's still intact. But Ryohei, he's genuinely lost it. He isn't the person I admired back in college. He's downgraded into this shell of insanity, and I don't think I can save him. I don't think anyone can, not even a blood sacrifice. Ryohei, I said in the gentlest voice I can manage. I'm sorry. I'm not doing this. Get up from the ground, please. Let's talk this out. My response drew nothing from Ryohei. He stayed still like a pretty porcelain doll, as if forever carved in his pose of grievance. Then I heard a small murmur. If you won't carry it, you'll feed it. What? I blinked and suddenly we were face to face, me staring up at his ashy pupils as he towered over me. Our bodies was uncomfortably close. My head raced, wondering how he managed to get up and seize me in just a blink of an eye. The confusion muddled my brain, the adrenaline pumping through my veins so fast that I hadn't even noticed that Ryohei's fist was hovering over my chest, gripping the knife's handle that was plunged into my heart. I looked down at it, dazed. What? Must be a fake knife. The one that retracts the more you push it in, but it doesn't look like it retracts. My sweater is pressed down where the knife's silver blade had pushed, and bits of red have started to bloom from the spot. Slowly, I start to feel the pain. In nausea and shock, I fell to my knees, unblinking. What? What? I cough and I feel warm, sticky liquid come out of my throat, pulling out of my mouth like a murky tap. Did he actually stab me? Yeah, babe, you got stabbed. Oh, man. I'm sorry. I hear Ryohei's voice from above, distant and echoing like he was speaking in an empty chapel, the sounds bouncing off the hollowed walls. I feel his hand pressing softly against the back of my hair, pressing the side of my face against his leg. His sick version of repentance, of confession. His warmth seeps into me as my life ebbs out. I'm sorry, Eden. He repeats my name and he sounds human. A good sound to hear for once. Humanity. Ryohei is human, always has been. I just didn't want to see that. He had always been a god to me. So much that I refused to acknowledge that he ever struggled. That must have followed me until now. He bared his heart to me, but instead of seeing the real him for once, I took it as an opportunity to finally feel better than him. How pathetic of me. And now, I pay my price. As I go limp, I feel his hands catch me, setting me gently against the cold floor. Even in my death, he treats me kindly. I feel my blood seep into the ritual circle, as if the curse is hungrily licking up the offering I provided. I'm sorry, Eden. He repeats it again and again, his hand over my corpse. I truly didn't want to do this. I really thought you were different. Ever since we met back then in college, I thought you saw through my facade, that you knew the grief I was hiding, that you could understand me, that you could understand who I really was. that you could accept it. He choked out, pressing his forehead against my bleeding heart. But I was wrong. I can't trust anyone. I can't show anyone who I really am. This is my burden to bear. Forever. I am the vessel. No one else. Ryohei is left kneeling over my corpse as shadowing veins crawl and dance throughout the room, rejoicing in Ryohei's inevitable surrender. No one else can be. End! Woo! Oh goodness. Okay, so he gave in. He's hugging our corpse. Wait, no, I hit play instead of load. Okay, hang on. Hang on. No. Save. Load. This one. Okay. We're going to accept. What? I peered down at the knife in his hands, present it to me like a trophy. Like it's something to be revered. Like I was something to be revered as long as I took that knife from him. Ryohei, what the hell are you doing? Get up. But Ryohei doesn't move. The knife lays in his palm, glistening in the simmering candlelight. Slowly I reach out, unable to stop my hand from shaking as our skin brushes against each other, the handle making its way inside my loose grip. I turn the knife upside down, my heavy heart sinking into my stomach. No, this isn't right. Ryohei isn't in the right mind, and neither am I. This is messed up. Ryohei, I can't. Are we gonna stab him? What? He's still kneeling, but his glare had shot up towards me, oozing such volumes of disgust it made me take a step back. How could someone on his knees be so full of authority still? What did you say? He sounded otherworldly, less a voice, more an entity. The words twist in my throat. Panic seized me, fear freezing my blood, and for a split second I almost shifted the blade towards the flesh in my palm, ready to slice. But I snap out of it. I hold the knife away from my body, putting it back into Ryohei's outstretched hands. No, I won't. No. I won't do it, Ryohei. Silence fills the room. His expression is unexplainable, an amalgamation of surprise, horror, and fury. Piping hot fury which traveled from his pinpoint pupils down to the goosebumps on the back of his hands. Oh, God. What? Is that in? Yeah, that is in him. Oh my God. So he is literally the vessel. Oh gosh, look at that. Hang on, look at that. Ah! Oh, it's over here on top of his shoulder like a hand gripping around him. Oh my gosh. Then he moved, faster than I could have stopped him. Before I knew it, his hand was gripped around my neck, the other pushing the knife against my hands. Take it. Take it! The room trembled beneath his cries. I gasped, clawing to release myself from his grip before driving a knee to his stomach. He's caught off guard quickly enough to drop me, but the knife was still in his hands. As I tried to step sideways, he lurched me back by my wrist, gripping tight enough to snap bone. Eden! An overwhelming will to survive took over me, and I shoved with all my might against his towering figure. He barreled backwards into a table, knocking chairs and vases over as he fell with a loud thud. For a minute, all that occupied the room was the sound of both our labored breathing, each breath feeling like my last. And then I saw the pool of red. It started from the right side of his chest, crawling forth from the fabric of his gray shirt. Was he accidentally stabbed? Nope. The handle of the ritual knife sunk deep inside him, serving as a stem for the scarlet flower blooming from his flesh. His dazed eyes trailed down his chest, hands lifting slowly to hover above the unfamiliar scene. He gurgled, a grin spreading across his perfect mouth. Ryohei! As if on instinct, I slid to the floor to hold his body up. His head tilted limply against my own hammering heartbeat, as his own heart started to crawl to a stop. No, I didn't mean to. I didn't. Shh. Around us, the candles fell into a dim glow until a cold chill snuffed their lights completely. I looked up to see the veins of black and red chunks start to pour thinly from the walls, slithering like snakes towards the floor and towards me. Oh yeah, it's leaving his body and it's gonna enter ours because remember he killed his uncle trying to get rid of it. I reeled back, holding Ryohei closer as I tried to pull him away from the vines, as if that could stop the blood pooling from his chest. Eden! When I looked down at him, tears were already building in his ash-colored eyes. This is good. I failed to keep my voice from cracking, from my own tears climbing up my throat. Nothing about this is good. You carry it now. The vessel. His hands rose up to press against my hammering heart. It's yours now. It's you. It's part of you. Ryohei. But I didn't want it to end this way. Ryohei choked out in the bleary reflection of his tears. I saw the person he had always been behind the facades and the perfect grins. All the popularity and the wonder. I saw a small, frightened little boy. I don't want to die, Eden. You're not gonna die. Ryo, I'll call the ambulance and... Carry it, Eden. His eyes flickered like a troubled candle. You are one. And then, Ryohei Damien drew his last breath. Oh, he had traumatized. Eden, it traumatized. And now carrying a entity. Great! Without his presence, the chill in the room hiked up to a horrible cold. I held his lifeless body against my own, only realizing the weight of his words when it had been too late. The vessel. The veins have traveled up my legs, coiling around my skin in their grasp, urging the beginning of our symbiotic relationship. I feel everything and nothing at all. Not even the veins burying themselves into my pores, hijacking the red lines of my eyes, the valves of my heart that no longer belongs to just me. And then I draw a frozen breath. I am the vessel now. Oh, okay. So either we die or we become the vessel. Neither are good choices. Poor Eden. I mean, I hope being a vessel at least let us sleep at night. I mean, come on. It clearly drove Ryo absolutely bonkers, so I guess we're gonna go bonkers, but maybe crazy people can sleep sometimes. We'll find out. But alright, my chickadees, that is Knitbone. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, I'm gonna have a link down below so you can go check it out for yourself and give the dev some love. And I will see you next time.